Have you ever noticed how in any group, at the office, with your friends, even in your own family, a pecking order just kind of appears? It feels like it happens on its own, like some invisible force is sorting us all into leaders and followers. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that invisible force and decode the ancient program that runs it all. So why do we do it? Why do we follow? You might think it's about charisma or a great idea or maybe a shared goal. And yeah, of course, those things matter. But the real reason? Well, it's much deeper, much older, and honestly, a whole lot weirder than you probably think. You see, this isn't just a social quirk we picked up. The drive to lead and the instinct to follow are ancient programs, literally hardwired into our biology. They're just as fundamental as our need for food or our instinct to run from danger. It's an inheritance from a very, very long evolutionary past. To really get this, we've got to go way back. I mean, way, way back to the very first and maybe most absolute form of leadership on the planet. This one has nothing to do with strength or smarts. Nope, it's all about pure chemistry. Just picture a beehive. There are no elections, no power struggles, no backstabbing. There's one leader, the queen, and her rule is total. But she doesn't use an iron fist. Her secret weapon is literally in the air. She rules with a cloud of chemicals, pheromones, that dictate what every single member of the colony does. And here's the wild part. Scientists have actually isolated the key ingredient to her power. It's this one molecule. This single chemical compound is her invisible crown. That's it. The entire basis of her reign is a perfume. And the power of this stuff? It is absolute. This one chemical coordinates the actions of thousands of workers. It chemically sterilizes any potential female rivals, and it acts as a constant all is well signal to the hive. The second that signal stops, the whole system collapses into chaos. Talk about top-down management. But of course, evolution rarely sticks with just one model. As life got more complex, a brand new and much more direct way of building a hierarchy showed up. This one was built on a principle we can all understand: force. Yeah, this is the blueprint we're all a little more familiar with, right? When there aren't enough resources to go around, the simplest way to decide who gets what is a good old-fashioned contest of strength. Physical power becomes the law of the land. It's brutal, for sure, but it's a very effective way to create a stable pecking order. And if you want to see just how deep this size rules programming goes, you have to look at these fish. With clownfish, the boss is the biggest female. If she dies, the next biggest male physically changes sex and becomes the new female leader. Angelfish do the exact opposite. The leader is the biggest male, and if he dies, the largest female transforms to take his place. Size doesn't just give you an advantage here, it literally rewrites your body to fit the role. And believe it or not, this ancient bias is hiding in plain sight, right in the words we use every single day. We call powerful leaders giants of industry or titans of politics. We say their accomplishments are monumental. And people who fail, they're small-minded, petty, or dwarfed by the competition. Our own language is a fossil record of this primitive link between being big and being in charge. But here's the thing, if it was all about size, our history would look very, very different. The most important evolutionary leap in leadership had nothing to do with bigger muscles. It was all about developing a bigger and much sneakier brain. You know, in really complex social groups like the ones primates and humans form, a whole new path to the top opens up. It's not just about who can win a fight anymore. It's about who can win friends, who can manage rivals, and who can play the social game. Brains start to beat brawn. And this shift, well, it changes everything. The whole game moves from a physical battlefield to a political one. Just think about someone like Napoleon. Not a physically intimidating guy, but he controlled empires. Power became less about what you could do yourself and more about what you could convince other people to do for you. And you can actually see this story play out across the animal kingdom. You start with these anonymous swarms, right? Like a school of fish where anyone can be in the front for a second. Then you evolve to task-based leaders. Think of an old, experienced elephant who leads the herd to water because she's the only one who knows the way. And finally, you get to us. Stable, complex hierarchies where politics, alliances, and social smarts are the name of the game. Okay, so if these complex societies aren't just a constant free-for-all, how do they actually hold together? What stops the number two from always trying to violently take out the number one? Well, the answer is rules, unspoken rules. To keep things from falling apart, evolution got really clever. First, it found a way to replace constant bloody violence with symbolic fights.
rituals of dominance and submission. But even more profound, it baked in a sense of fairness, a feeling that the rules of the game ought to apply to everyone.
Which, of course, raises this huge question. Did we humans come up with the idea of justice, of fairness, or is it something much, much older? Well, a now famous experiment with some very clever monkeys gives us a pretty stunning answer. So here's what they did. A capuchin monkey does a little task. It gets a slice of cucumber. It's perfectly happy with that deal. But then it sees another monkey right next to it do the exact same task and get a juicy grape, a way better prize. So the next time the first monkey does a task and gets offered that same old cucumber, it doesn't just refuse it. It throws it right back in the researcher's face. It is furious. This isn't just disappointment, it's a full-blown protest against injustice.
And here is what's so incredible. We humans do the exact same thing. In a famous experiment called the ultimatum game, people will literally choose to get $0 rather than accept an offer they think is unfair. That little monkey throwing its cucumber in disgust, that is the exact same biological program that makes us walk away from a bad deal. The demand for fairness is ancient.
So we've gone from the chemical control of a beehive to the brute force of the pack, all the way to the complex politics of our primate cousins. Let's bring it all home and see how these ancient programs are running our modern world, right here, right now. Look, this isn't some abstract history lesson. This is your daily life. The jockeying for position at work, that's primate alliance building. The complicated dance of international treaties and diplomacy, that's just alpha animals negotiating territory on a global scale. And the constant competition for likes and followers online, it's a brand new arena for the same old game of status. These scripts are running in the background of everything we do. It's funny, more than 500 years ago, Machiavelli basically wrote the handbook for all this. He understood that in a complex society, being a leader isn't just about being strong or popular. It's about strategy, about knowing who your allies are, and sometimes knowing when you have to play dirty. It's a timeless book because it describes a timeless part of who we are. So, at the end of the day, what does this all mean? It means that when we're trying to get ahead, when we look to someone else for guidance, or when we feel that hot flash of anger at an injustice, we aren't just making rational choices. We are acting out these ancient biological programs, instincts that have been shaped by millions of years of survival.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. The next time you defer to someone else's authority or you feel that impulse to take charge of a situation, just ask yourself, which ancient program is running the show? Is it the absolute chemistry of the hive, the raw power of the pack, or the political cunning of the primate? Which one is running you?